Try this one more time. Otherwise, I'm done. Hey everybody, SPS Debo here, showing off. We're doing an update for the new, not the new, but the old Grim Reaper build. Updating a lot of my builds to 2.2. We're just taking some of the new items that was introduced inside of PTR patch 2.2 or the future patch 2.2, implemented them with the Grim Reaper build, and just going to show off how it's running. Most importantly, today we're running with the Wormwood. We're running with the Cloth of Transcendence, which makes it so every time we use a mana spender, it generates a fetish. We are also using the 2-piece Jade set that makes it so now that when we cast Haunt on the same target twice, it does additional 10 seconds worth of damage. Everything else is pretty much typical what you would see outside of a typical Grim Reaper build, except, like I said, the big one is Wormwood, Belt of Transcendence, 2-piece Jade we're utilizing with that today. And all the skills are pretty much the same, except that instead of like Rain of Toads, we're using Haunt with Poison Spirit. We're of course using Paranato, Acid Cloud, Zombie Charger, and Corpse Spiders. And of course Spirit Walk always stays inside the build. Pierce the Veil, Spirit Vessel, Gruesome Feast. Sometimes you would run something different, like, you know, I don't know, Jungle Fortitude, or maybe you might run it with the Tall Man's Finger, so you might run Midnight Feast. But since we're not doing that, we're running it with new Haunt. We're going to use Rust of Essence so we don't out-mana ourselves. We're going to go ahead and start off in the Trial Rift. And we're going to wait to see how it's going to go. Hopefully, I don't get any problems or a bad rift like I did before, because I started recording this video on the last rift run, and I got like the rift from hell, and I just got totally annihilated. And when usually the build does pretty good. It doesn't usually get too many problems. You know, half the time I just got to sit back and just auto-cast Locust Swarm, and everything dies pretty much, and it's not too much stuff I have to do, and there's a bunch of effects going off. So hopefully the game is a little bit more friendlier this time, but we'll have to see. I don't know how the trial rifts are going to be. If we don't get a lot of mobs that like to run around and we don't get too many exorcists, we should get pretty high. I expect to get placed around 34. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully in the future Blizzard thinks about maybe looking into a Grim Reaper, making it a nice 6-piece set, maybe having a 2-piece bonus that extends the time of the mimics being out. 4-piece could be something along the lines of you get 2 additional mimics, so you'll have 4 out at 5 seconds increase, because you also with 5 seconds increase because you got the 2-piece. And then for the 6-piece bonus, make it so that when they cast their spells and they do their damage, it increased their damage increased out by like another 500% or something like that, so that when they cast Pork Spiders or they cast Acid Cloud, they do way more damage. We'll have to wait to see how it's going to be, but I mean, if they ever have something for a suggestion for future sets, I definitely would love to see a Grim Reaper set, because it actually would be very interesting, and I think a really fun playstyle. A lot of people like running it. The only reason why they don't take it to higher levels is just because it just doesn't have that extra oomph for damage. But it does pretty good. It can get up to about 40, and after 40 is kind of, you know, it's up to you. If you run Grim Reaper with the Jade build instead of Quetzalcoatl, which I don't know why you would do it, seems like it could do all the way up to 42, 43, but at that point you're pretty much just better off just running a Jade build. But very interesting build, especially with the new Belt of the Transcendence, so we don't have to worry about using a main hand offhand. We can use a nice 2-handed weapon. And as you can see, the build is really easy to run. It's not really too complicated. The only thing I need to do is just keep casting Haunt, cast Piranhas and Paranatos whenever I can, and just like to let the Mimics do all the hard work and do all the heavy lifting while I just sit back and do what I'm doing. Because when you actually double cast Haunt on the same target, it actually does a pretty good amount of damage. So we're at 37, which means we're about at Greater Rift level 34, so I'm probably going to top out either at this level or the next one. I don't think we'll go much higher than that, but we'll have to wait and see. Depends on what the next mob set is, and hell, I don't even know if I'll get past this mob set. We'll see. Yeah, I got through it. Yep, got through it. So now we're up to 34. No, 35 right now. And this one might let us get up to 36 or maybe 37. And we'll see. I think it's going a lot better because we're using the Ancient Wormwood, but we still got a jerk over here. He likes to be an Exorcist, and Exorcists, as you guys know, do astronomical amounts of damage. I don't know why they do that. Hopefully Blizzard tones them down a little bit because it's pretty crazy, but maybe they're just working as intended. Alright, so we might beat this level, we might not, I don't know. Or this rift level, see where we get started at. I don't think we'll end up beating it. We'll have to wait and see. No, we fell just short. So we'll end up starting at 36. All right. I think I was at like a 400, and I dropped down pretty bad, but so this is 36 Grim Reaper. Nothing special. It's not meant to like revolutionize Witch Doctor play. It's just a build that people use that doesn't really require anything other than the Grim Reaper and an okay two-handed weapon that people can use to go ahead and gear themselves up in seasons, or if they just want a quick, easy, simple to play build they don't have to think about, Grim Reaper is your build, because all you have to do is just spam Haunt or spam whatever primary skill you're using to trigger the haunting going, or trigger the the mimics, and that's about all you need to do. If you want to top in crazy in build, then of course that's going to be Zuni Carnival or Tiki Sack, or maybe even Jade build. But if you need a build that's pretty much self-sufficient and all you need is just the helmet, I mean, this is it. I mean, once you get the Grim Reaper, you can run the same exact skill up, and then the only thing that makes the build better is just basically getting better gear. You don't have to run it with Tasker and Theo. You don't even have to run it with Waiters. You don't even have to run it with Wormwood, but I would highly recommend it. Somebody asked in chat, is it PTR? Yeah, it is PTR. Just running through the rifts and just showing the different changes with the Grim Reapers and up-to-date stuff. The nicest thing I actually will say for any Grim Reaper you definitely should go after is the Battle Transcendence. That makes it so every time you use a mana spender, you go ahead and get a fetish. Works really well with Poison Spirit, so you can get 15 permanent fetishes out there. Beforehand, we would have to hope to, with a good attack speed and Rain of Toads, to get 15, but now we pretty much guarantee to always get it. If you like to run it with Furnace, Furnace is also okay, but that just more basically means you're trying to do more damage on the elites and take them out a lot quicker. I feel that Wormwood does better with trash mobs or high amounts of it, and I find that the Furnace does better in terms of killing the elites and the Rift Guardians. I mean, just as much as you would expect it. So we're just pursing on through. And nothing too out of the ordinary. Except for, I don't know why. It's funny times is sometimes when I'm just testing a build, I get really good runs. And then when I actually put it to video, like, the Rift likes to test me, I guess. Or they're like baiting me or trying to troll me. Because all the other runs were very, very straightforward, very easy, simple. Pop my Spirit Vessel. I gotta Spirit Walk the hell out of here because I don't want to take too much more damage with that Thunderstorm, but it's almost dead now. Mostly because the double tap with the Haunt does a pretty good amount of damage. There we go. Another elite pack. We're actually making some pretty good games right now. It doesn't look like it, but it is. Yeah, on a nice thing about it as well is like when you're running poison, like somebody asked, he said, Debo, does your fetishes actually take upon the elemental property where your highest elemental is? It does. So, not only are the fetishes produced by the Belt of Transcendence, they also take on the poison property, which is very nice. Or at least they should be now. I know they had some issues with that before. But just in general, if you use Fetish Sycophants, whatever your highest elemental damage, you should take that into accord and apply it to your fetishes. They don't have little green daggers right now, so I don't know if they did it or they changed something else. So Belt of Transcendence doesn't benefit from that because basically the fetishes you produce from Belt of Transcendence are those fetishes, so we'll have to look into that and test that as well. But I'm pretty sure any fetishes you produce, whether it's through Belt of Transcendence or Fetish Sycophants, Blizzard will allow for you, or allow for your fetishes to become that property. So that's a big help, because in other words, like beforehand, you didn't want to run any builds that with Fetish Sycophants unless you were going physical, because they would always be a physical property. But now since they change element based upon what you have on your gear, you can actually do some different builds, like you can run a fire build, and all those fetishes that are you normally would be physical passive, now they're going to be fire passive ones. And the way it's determined is whatever your highest element at the point of which the the fetish spawns. So if you're using that BlizzCon ring and the elements shift around, or somehow your elemental changes to be higher than another one, then the next fetish you produce will be of that element. Yeah, I think also somebody similar gamer just said in chat, I wish Grim Reaper would work with Helltooth. That would actually be pretty interesting. You know what? If they allowed your zombies or your mimics to cast zombie wall, that could have actually offered some possibilities with the Grim Reaper, because you could use the Grim Reaper with the Helltooth set 6-piece, use that for the helmet, and then every time you auto cast a mimic, you set it up so that the only skill that they can cast is either your skill that you're using to proc them or the zombie wall, and then when the zombie wall comes out, it sprays its own poison because it's part of your build set. That would have been a pretty interesting skill set. I still think they would have needed it to up the damage and change some mechanics about it, but that would have been pretty cool to be able to use a Grim Reaper with the Helltooth and stuff like that. You know, it would make a lot of sense. And somebody else just said, you know, hey, the Helltooth set should set with the Grim Reaper, because that actually would make a lot of sense if you can have auto-casting zombie walls that do massive amount of damage. We'll have to wait and see what's up. Somebody's asked a good question. Is there a good way to put in a focus restraint in a 6-piece Zuni build? No, not really. Well, yeah, if you're not running Greater Rifts and you're not running yeah, I'd say if you're not running Greater Rifts. No, actually, no. No, you can't. Because Focus and Restraint takes up both rings, you need at least Ring of Royal Grandeur so you can hit the 6-piece set. So unless they reduce it, I mean, you could and run Zuni Masa helmet, but then you're gimping yourself out of either using Jerome or, you know, Carnival or something like that. Now, if you wanted to make like a Focus and Restraint with no Zuni and just Carnival pieces, or a Focus and Restraint build with fetishes and no Carnival pieces, that, I mean, we all know you can do that. But no, you won't be able to do that. The reason why the Tiki Sack can get away with it, because it doesn't need those set items, and it doesn't need to run, you know, any extra kind of crazy stuff. It doesn't need to run, oh, what is it called? It doesn't need to run the Unity Ring, because it has Permafear from the Tickle and the Saj, but just be forewarned, they're going to be nerfing that in the future. So don't get too attached to Tiki. It's coming. They already talked about it. Blizzard doesn't like anything that's permanent, which is understandable. I thought the Permafear thing was silly day one, and then not to mention they dealt with the whole issue with the invulnerability skills and stuff. So looks like we're just cruising on along real easy here. Like I said, it's a real simple build, and the only thing I'm doing is spamming Haunt. The build pretty much just plays itself with the auto cast and the mimics start going off crazy on the screen. Like I said, if you're having problems with Elite, or maybe you got a Furnace, you might want to use that if you need a little bit more damage on the Greater Rift Guardian. This build kind of tops off at level 40. And to go beyond that would probably make yourself go crazy. So if you use a Grim Reaper build, just simply use it as a way to level up you through the Greater Rifts if that's the best gear set you have. Or just to simply keep gearing yourself up until you get the better items so you can get like SNK or get Dagger, Darts, or Carnival. Just use it as a tool to get you to where you need to go. Because it's a very strong build to go early on. It doesn't require a lot of gear. Like I said, all you need is a Grim Reaper, and then you roll the rest of your gear correctly. Now, if you get like things like Wormwood, you get things like Belt of Transcendent, it will make your life a lot easier. But for the most part, as long as you have that Grim Reaper, and you have a two-handed weapon, you're pretty good. Hey, what's up, Ross? You heading out?
I'm heading out.
Have a safe trip to Cali, man. Message me when you get home. When you get there, dog, let me know you're safe.
Okay.
All right, man. That was my roommate, A. Ross. Getting ready to go on a little vacation. Well observed. He's been teaching all year, working hard, so. But, as you can see, it's really nothing really outside that special. Just spamming the Haunt to trigger the fetishes, get the Haunt damage on everything so they take increased damage. The mimics come out. They auto-mimic my attacks. And, I mean, that's all there is to it. And it's also pretty nice to run Grim Reaper in a 6-person group as well too, because the damage is always pretty solid as well. Now, if you have a bunch of Jade pieces and you don't have a Quizzicoatl, or you want to try something different, Grim Reaper with Jade is pretty nice, where you run the Spirit Walk, Soul Harvest, the Spiders, maybe Acid Cloud, left click Haunt, right click Prawns, or Paranauta. You run the 5 pieces of the Jade and use the Grim Reaper as the helmet. That one's actually pretty entertaining as well. I would advise, if you are going to try that out, run it with Creeping Death so you can extend the time, and maybe even, I would say, the Wormwood so you get the, oh, I thought I had a, Oh no, I got the speed up room. So you use it with the wormwood, so you get the auto cast on the locust swarm, and then you also can use the haunt, and it works out pretty well. The harvest is okay. It really helps on trash mobs, but that's something else you guys might want to try. And then of course make sure you get your haunt, increased haunt damage. But as you can see, this is level 36. It does pretty well. We got plenty of time to burn. We might be able to skip 2. The build doesn't run into any problems until about, for the most part, 38 to 40. The highest I ever completed this with this build is 40. The 40 build did use the furnace build just because I was messing around, and I got a pretty nice rip, so I was able to capitalize on that. So yeah, hopefully that'd be pretty interesting in the future if they decide to incorporate this build with Helltooth. I think that would be a pretty cool idea, or just give it its own 6-piece set. A lot of people like the Grim Reaper build because it's really fun and it's really different. And it's pretty cool to be able to use all these different spells and then cast different stuff. So we only got skipped to, I think, 137. So that was an okay run. I'm going to be updating a lot of different things. I know I already got a build out about the Zuni Carnival and the Zuni SMK. We updated the Tall Man's Finger. And we updated the... I'm trying to think, what else did we update instead of Tall Man's Finger? It was Tall Man's Finger. Oh, and it was Renho Flavor with Zuni Masa. So keep a lookout for more videos. By the 5th, I'll have all this stuff released out and nice little information. Updated all the guides and stuff so you guys can check that out. As always, I appreciate you guys checking out my videos and everything else. And I will see you next time. If you guys need any questions or need help, just feel free to leave it in the comment section or just visit me when I'm streaming on Twitch and ask a question. Later.